The set you are about to watch is from a Battle Aces tournament I hosted this weekend. I wanted to get a wide variety from our players, and so I asked them all to bring 3 unique decks to this tournament. In the deck, I mean that they are not allowed to use any duplicates whatsoever, so if they use recalls in one deck, that's it. They can't use recalls in any of their other decks. Players then must win with all 3 decks. If they win with one of the decks, they cannot win with it again for the rest of the set. So, let's get into it. So, Jack0 versus Dewalt. These are both 2 top ace players, about 7,000 ranked versus 8,000 ranked. We're seeing Dewalt running what I thought was going to come in almost every deck. I thought everyone was going to bring this deck, which is Wasp Knight, some aggressive unit like Stingers or Swift Shockers is not entirely uncommon. So yeah, this is a deck I thought I would see a lot. Jack0 on the other side going Blink into Guardian Shield. So this is kind of maybe a more of a defensive one, maybe actually working on it a better place. Both players going for Starforge off the bat. Butterfly, Airship versus Stinger. Stinger being this Starforge unit, but it's really just a grounded, like, attacker. Really just like a thing that's added on into this sort of aggressive front line with Wasp Knight. Wasp, these very cheap frontline units, they get one shot by everything, but they cost so cheap. Knights, on the other hand, are big, tanky units. I think they're the only big core unit. That was a big pick there, actually. Each one of them costing 200. Jack0 actually getting a really big pick there. But this is the dangerous thing against Wasps. Wasps are so easy to get this around. And Blinks, don't get me wrong, they can blink out, but Wasps are fast enough that they can do this around. And the way that Blinks work, they kind of just isolate themselves accidentally. Might be able to blink out, and the losses here on both sides isn't great or terrible. We see third base already up for Jack0. Starting to see some of these flying units being added in. We've got airships and butterflies being added in. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dewalt's anti-air currently consists of dragonflies. So he's got to try and make this count. Stingers come in. He's going to try and pick off this third base, which he absolutely will be able to do. Jack0 sending these air units across the map. Gonna try and get some damage done on himself. Butterfly's doing extra damage to bases, and there's no defenses on this side, so it's effectively a base race. Dewalt's making sure he guts that entire resource line. Meanwhile, Jack0's going actually in for the core, which is very bold. He knows actually there is so little air to air. He's actually gonna force out some dragonflies here, which is not really what Dewalt wanted to build here.
Looking towards the horizon.
Dragonflies don't do a lot for him. Other than acting as anti-air. And the main thing here is that dragonflies trade significantly worse into airships compared to other air-to-air units anyway.
Humanity is meant for more.
So it is effectively... Jack0 has survived the early phases of this. Dragonflies come in. The airships are going to be able to, because the airships do bonus damage to air units. They're going to try and pick off this second base, and they will succeed in doing it. Other side of the map, we've got some butterflies hunting around, trying to see if they can get the counterattack back. This fight will be cleared up. All these units will be cleared up. But he is down to that one base right now. He'll be able to rebuild in a sec if he wants to, but yeah, it's a scary time. And now effectively there's a period of sort of resource deficit. Dewalt just effectively wants to survive this period, because the longer this goes on, the longer his resource advantage piles up. But so many units are going to be picked off right now. A huge number of airships, a huge number of butterflies coming in, gonna try and pick off the night side. Look at this, really large number of dragonflies as well, but dragonflies versus airships don't trade fantastically. Airships are gonna effectively clear up most of this. I mean, the grounded force has been completely killed, but there's no anti-air. And dragonflies, you need to get a high number. You really need to outnumber the number of airships there are. There's currently 4 airships here, so you need at least 5 dragonflies to be able to counterattack this. Dragonflies cost 125 resources each. That's a lot of electricity that you don't have. And he tries to make a poke in with the Wasp, but just a number of blinks at home and Guardian Shield. There's no way for this attack to go on now. So he's going to try and poke here with a couple of the Dragonflies. He gets a couple of shots off. He does manage to pick 2 of them off, but he does get it done. There you have it. Game number 1 goes the way of Jack0. Very, very well played there. I do feel like it was a bit of a deck differential there. It was effectively a rush deck into a Guardian Shield pick. Now, both players do pick the first decks blind. So that was just sort of, I think, a deck loss. But I think this is the wonderful thing about that format. You now know that deck isn't there anymore. So it's going to be a question in the rest of these sets. If Dewalt sticks with that Knight Scorpion, is Jack0 going to be able to survive with it without Guardian Shield? Guardian Shield has that sort of passive defense. It's not actually that strong anymore. I feel like it was really strong at the beginning when it used to do 4 times damage to core. It was insane. Now, I think it's what, it's like 0.9. It's like slightly less damage to core. But it's yeah, it's nice to just have that completely passive defense enabled. Right, game number 2, Jack0 no longer able to use that deck. Sorry for the sound cutting out every time I tab out, it is mildly annoying. Alright, here we go, going into game number 2. Jack0 1-0 up in this series. Oh, I'm actually going to swap the names as well so the bases are on the right side for everyone, so you actually know which side is which. Right, so we see Jack0 running a similar version of this. So this is Wasp Knight we've seen. An equivalent version here is Wasp Scorpion. Wasp Scorpion, I think, generally has been more popular. Scorpion's just a little bit more tanky. So Wasp cost 25 matter. It's red resource for those who haven't seen this game before. And Scorpions costing 50. Scorpions are just, they're quite tanky for what they are. Knights being the sort of backline ranged unit of the army. And then you have the tanky front line of Scorpion and Wasps. Wasps having the ability to surround significantly better, and not just more mobile than Scorpions are, but Scorpions just better fighters all around. We see both players heading to that Starforge again. We've got Dragonflies on Jack0's side versus Dragonflies and Stingers. Tier 2 advanced, we see Locust and Predator and Artillery. I don't know if we'll see that side. I think a lot of this game is going to be quite aggressive from both players. Well, it depends. We might have just 2 players playing incredibly aggressively that ends up being a really drawn out game because both players can be so aggressive. A couple of Scorpions poking around here, trying to see if they can find a way into this base over here. They do get found by the Knights here, patrolling. 5 Knights versus 5 Knights. One more here. It's interesting seeing where units are positioned and defended. Look at this, a small contingent here trying to be ready to defend. And yep, here comes a little force of Wasps trying to make a poke in, trying to see if they can get any damage off. Nothing done on either side. We see tier 3 already up. Sorry, tier 3, a base 3 already up. Meanwhile, where's that electricity been spent? He knows that electricity hasn't been spent on a base or tech, so he knows it must be on units. The problem here, sort of again, is that Dewalt's air-to-air is effectively nothing. It's Dragonflies. A couple of Knights at home to defend, a couple of Scorpions are defending here. Knights make a big poke in at this second base. And make a poke round here. Dragonflies have been able to effectively clear out this entire base. Shots going on, Dragonflies versus Dragonflies. This entire attack over here has been cleared up. This attack here has also been cleared up. So the damage definitely favoring Jack0 at the moment. However, he has been a base down this entire time. So he's effectively just made up the gap that he had lost. But a lot of the Dragonflies did die. Actually, no, they didn't. No, they're all here. They're all here hiding with the resource units. So yeah, effectively, Dewalt's air-to-air is Dragonfly. So he's just got to maintain a Dragonfly advantage. And if he does so, he'll be fine, because neither player has a whole lot to shoot up. Bunch of Wasps running into the line here. Dragonfly fight continues to happen on Dewalt. Apparently it's actually 5-5, but these units are harassing. So much damage here at the base. This fight is being slowly won as the number of Wasps is actually slowly creeping up. We will defend this successfully. The damage here at home is pretty big, and all of those Dragonflies are cleared up. 8 killed here, which is about 1 basis, but he has lost that entire Dragonfly advantage now. And Dewalt's air-to-air, sorry, Jack0's air-to-air is just Dragonflies for them, because he hasn't got that tier 2 upgrade to get Predators yet. And so he can't defend this. He has to just accept the loss, and he's got to be careful he doesn't get surrounded here. Obviously these Knights can't shoot up. I need to slightly edit my overlay. Hold on, I just noticed something. Let's unlock that and unlock that. Let's just move that. Move that down. Just noticed that was in a really inconvenient place for it all. Right, there you go. So yeah, Jack0 now a base down. Lost that sort of air advantage. He's managed to build up a decent number of Dragonflies again, but not enough to really fight. So he's trying to get some harass off here. He is going to be able to pick off a decent amount, but that does mean immediately Dewalt knows where his main contingent is. So he does manage to big pick off. Decent number of Knights and Scorpions here, but pick off Dragonflies here, and this is where the big thing's going to go. He can't lose these Dragonflies, but they're kind of getting boxed into a corner. He's trying to get the retreat. The Dragonflies are on top of them. They are going to be fully cleared up, and they're even being blocked from leaving. Entirely cleared up. A number of Knights here get surrounded by a Wasp as well. Base down. Aerial contingents completely destroyed. Dewalt is looking to be in a really good position right now. That number of Dragonflies coming on top, diving on top of the remaining Dragonflies. 5 here, down to 3. We even have a couple of Wasps running into the line here, getting just a couple of resources picked off. 2 Dragonflies here, don't get entirely picked off. There we go. Game number 2 going the way of Dewalt. Very, very well done there. We have a series on our hands, which I'm, of course, happy to see. Dewalt getting on the board. 1-1 up right now. I did expect this series to be a good one, and GG's very well played there. So we'll try and get into game number 3 of this series. So yeah, we've seen Scorpion Wasp there out of Jack0 versus, sorry, out of Dewalt versus Scorpion Knight. Sorry, not Scorpion Knight. Wasp Knight and Wasp Scorpion. I also said that wrong. Oh my god. Get what it is. Right, here we go. Game number 3. 1-1 in this series right now. Jack0 versus Dewalt. Right, Dewalt has Guardian Shield and Gunbot in this build, and this is where a lot of his air units were spent. So we've got Falcon, Shade, and Valkyrie. Falcons being this incredibly they're just a good air unit. They're just very tanky. They're slow as hell, but they are strong fighters. They're able to fight a lot of, like, look at this. This is meant to be anti-air. And Falcon is not negative. Falcon is like, they could just fight ground to air absolutely fine. Shades, that big AoE splash damage, destroys worker lines and destroys a lot of core unit based stuff. Meanwhile, Jack0's build's got advanced blinks, advanced bots, we've got bulwarks, mammoths, and advanced recalls. Now, I'll be honest here, advanced recalls I have no idea about. I've not seen a lot of them. So I don't really know what they're good against and what they're bad against. According to this, they lose 2 air units. And assault bots. But like assault bots beat a hell of a lot of stuff, so that's not entirely surprising. Jack0 making a couple of pokes around here with recalls. Recalls have been seen quite a lot. They have this ability to recall back to a base. You can click them and they will just teleport out. So you can see that teleport goes off and you just click back and they go back. So they can poke and prod around and effectively take very little risk. They do effectively get stunned during that recall phase. You do get a couple of free shots off on them, but they're reasonably tanky units. But no healing in this game. No healing at all, so any damage you receive is permanent. Bases do get healed. I think it's the only thing that does get healed. Your core certainly does. Advanced bots here. Sorry, not advanced bots. Gunbots here. Having this overcharged ability, so you'll see them glow orange. Increased attack speed, increased move speed during a period of time. There it is, then activations. In a fight, though, recalls win in higher numbers. Fighting under Guardian Shield here, though, taking that shot. Remember, Guardian Shield will always target the nearest unit, so as long as that nearest unit changes every time. But a number of the gunbots has been picked off. We're effectively popping off. A single Mammoth has come in. Tier 2 Foundry is also up. We've got Crusaders and Heavy Hunters ready and available for the Dewalt as well. You can see a couple of those Crusaders come in, but that base is going to be picked off. Crusaders' big melee units. Look at them, look at that damage. Battering rams, effectively. And if they can get on top of something, they're actually pretty strong. They are also extraordinarily tanky. Both sides, I think this fight will eventually be cleared up. Dewalt was able to build that third base back immediately, but the resources lost for that period of time. But here's the thing about Crusaders, that melee range is always difficult to play into. Because, effectively, apart from being tanky, people are able to kite it, and especially at this level, recall hunters, you're able to just poke and prod, and that's effectively what we're seeing here, is that Jack0's got the range advantage. Gunbot's also quite short range. I think they've got maybe 4 range, isn't it? They're slightly smaller than other units. The tankiness of the Crusaders is providing a pretty solid front line, allowing these gunbots to effectively take much more feasible fights. Meanwhile, Jack0 is starting to tech up into that advanced Starforge, getting those bulwarks up. Recall does manage to get on top, managed to pick up quite a few of the Crusaders here. Decent number of gunbots. They will stay under the Guardian Shield and stay safe. And it is important to note, actually, a couple of these types here are, they are just, what are these advanced recalls? In, tries to push into the space. This force is enough to win this fight. But with the reinforcements coming out of the base, is he going to be able to hold on to this third base? That entire army is flinged up, and yep, GG. Game number 3 goes the way of Jack0. Very, very well played there. Yeah, very, very well played there. Jack0 2-0 up in the series now. Oh, sorry, 2-1 up in the series right now. Let me just look at that. I want to look at those advanced not advanced recalls. Surprisingly strong. Okay, let's take a look into it. So 2-0 up in the series, that does 2-1 up in the series. That does mean Jack0 is now down to his last remaining deck, which is going to be I think it's his Guardian Shield deck. I think is this deck we saw? No, this is not. It's different one. All right, here we go. Winners quarterfinals, 2-1 up in this series. Seeing Jack0 revert to his Knight Scorpion deck. 3-1-0 to you in loser's bracket. Let me just quickly bang that in for you. There you go. Right.
Nice.
So we see Knight Scorpion. Jack0 lost against the Knight Wasp. One base tech for Jack0. Yeah, that is actually interesting. Getting this up actually before... Yeah, very early tech. You can see this normally takes enough time to you to get, like, another base up in between. So normally people expand immediately. And then get tech afterwards, but Jack0 going straight for it. You can see how delayed, comparatively, Dewalt's tech is. Now, effectively, Dewalt's anti-air at this point is Guardian Shield. But Guardian Shield can be manipulated. As I said, it always targets the nearest unit. So with Dragonflies, if you just shove another unit in the way, or even if you just move the Dragonflies back, they just won't be targeted. A little contingent of gunbots up here. Now, Guardian Shield also puts a 600 health shield on those workers, so workers are a little bit more tanky. But what's the air to it? Gunbots don't shoot up. Number of gunbots here in the backline, though. They're going to make a poke in, and actually, the damage is pretty good. Those heavy hunters have immediately come up. Ooh, unfortunate micro there gets pulled back into it. Meanwhile, damn, the damage here. He's cleared out the entire line. Just a group of 6. What an incredible counterattack there by Dewalt, and Dewalt has managed to get up a second base in the meantime, and tech up pretty safely. One base tech here. Was an interesting strategy. I'm not entirely sure if it's working out in his favor right now. Really wanted to try and catch him off guard with that lack of anti-air. He does throw down that new base. A large number of knights comes in. But that overcharge from the gunbots managed to get quite a lot of damage off. Got a couple of dragonflies here trying to see as this third base is going to get launched on top of. Dewalt's in a pretty strong position for sure right now. 2 heavy hunters do manage to pick off those dragonflies. But he's got so many heavy hunters. He's got like 6 heavy hunters here as well. The army's going to try and come back. But the small force that was here has been completely picked off. And yep, that is it. That is it. Straight over. It is 2-2 in this series. We really do have a powerful say. Oh, thank you very much. My Moobot doing its job. Everyone has a Knight Scorpion deck. Feel like the odd one out. Yeah. Really feels like it's going to be a strong... I'm not entirely surprised by that. I knew when I proposed this format, I thought Wasp Scorpion Stinger was going to be... Or Scorpion Knight Stinger was going to be pretty common as, like... a play of some variety. Bonan and Sojourn, I'll probably do your game next, by the way. So we'll get on from there, going on to winner semis. Right, here we go. Final game of this series. 2-2 at the moment. Oh, we played already. No worries. Absolutely fine. So I do the winner. Do I versus the winner? Yes. Yeah, you're versus the winner of this, and we'll stay on this then. No. Let's I'll do the. No, you wait, because if Sojourn and Bonan have played, I'll follow them into the next game, into the winner semis, and we'll go from there.
All away.
Right, Jack0 trying to get this win here with Knight Scorpion so far. Dewalt reduced to his final deck, which is the Blink and Blink Hunters. We've got mortars. Oh, big boy, this is range. Look at this. This is high range, even higher range, and just big fat range. We've also got cat bus here. I love cat box. It's a nice overlay, thank you very much. Actually, I'm not going to take full credit for it. Today's overlay was provided to me by the Battlazers team. They actually asked content creators what would be useful like 2 months ago, and I asked. I was like, hey, stream overlay and stuff for tournaments would be great, and they provided it, and they really delivered. Yeah, Gargantuan has 8 green arrows. That is actually crazy. This is what we call identifying your win condition. This is your win condition. God. Yeah, Gargantuans do really only lose to big, anti-big things. To anti-big things. They're looking at Destroyer, Advanced Destroyer, and Jack0's deck does not have any of that. So, effectively, this is a game where if Dewalt just sort of tanks up and survives, and gets to Gargantuans, he will just win. So we're going to see the Bomber coming out, as well as a Heavy Hunter providing that decent anti-air. Number of bombers coming in right. God, look at the spread! Dewalt knows his win condition, and he is setting up for it. Spreading around a huge amount of mortars, a huge amount of defense, spreading out the blinks so that the bombers will be less effective, because they are effectively little banelings. God, look at this. This looks like what you face a campaign mission and you have to fight through the trenches. Number of knights, a number of bombers coming in. Blinks are going to try and harass and poke down here as well to even reduce that wall. What is a win condition here, actually? Like, what is Jack0's win condition here when you have this wall of setup? Bomber makes a little spike in there, a pretty decent poke. There's a part of me for Jack0 that says just fuck it, let's go 4 bases. Like, he ain't gonna move out, and I am gonna lose if I go Gargantuan, so I've got to win like a resource battle. I agree that early you've got to try and identify, like, I had to try and kill, but I think this is so fortified. You aren't poking in. He tries to make that poke and prod around. A couple of bombs trying to get in. Meanwhile, a small contingent of blinks does make a poke in, and the thing about this army is it is not able to get back home very quickly. And we've seen this happen again and again. Dewalt has just had a phenomenal job. Oh, 2 bombers got a huge hit! Oh my god, okay, I mean, he still lost a lot of resources there. But, like, that 2 bombers effectively cleared up that entire blink line. Which, you know, we'll take. As the Gargantuans are out, the win condition is here. Gargantuan's just huge unit. It's going to walk straight across into that 3rd line. Another bombers riding him. Now, bomber's going to try and get some damage on the line. Okay, not bad, but you're losing an entire base here. Jack0's going to try and go for a Hail Mary. If he can kill the core, this actually isn't a bad trade for him. And the number of units here actually isn't bad. It's effectively a base trade going on here where Jack0 has got here earlier but has less damage. Number of units going down, we're at a half health. Mortars are starting to be here. Core units are going to start clearing it up. Meanwhile, the base here, this is already starting to go down. Bombers clearing up a decent amount. Jack0's down to a 3rd base, but the number of units here is actually going to be cleared up. I think this is actually going to be it. I think Jack0's entire force has been cleared up. And God, that was just so close. And yes, I think that is going to be very well played there by Dewalt. Knew his